I've intentionally waited to do this fan cam, right? I could have done this right at the final whistle. I probably could have done this before the final whistle went. But I thought I'd try and give it a little bit of time and a little bit calm down. And I hope I'm going to be less ranty than I otherwise would have been. But I can't lie, I'm probably going to fail in that. So forgive me if ranty videos is not what you want. This is probably the wrong place for you. Abandon ship, all ye who enter here from this point on, because I'm probably gonna go into ranty mode. But anyway, if you quite like ranty mode, Gatesy, then this is the place for you. Okay, so that's the disclaimer out the way. I'm also going to get a little bit of a plug. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name's over there, whatever. My name's Gatesy. I'm from the West Ham fan YouTube channel called the West Ham Massive. Gio, if he remembers, will put the link for my channel in the description section. So if you don't know what we're all about, please feel free to hop over. Thanks very much. Right, okay, let's get into it. So first things first, the teams were announced. I was watching it on TNT Sport, guys, and I'll get into that in a little bit because I've got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet about the coverage that I saw yesterday. That was the starting lineup that was put out and the substitutes as well. Now, when I saw it, I got to be honest that I was a little bit conflicted because I could see that obviously we came off the back of a 4-1 win against Ipswich before the international break, and it was the same team that took to the field in that particular match. I know the old sort of mantra about not changing a winning team. I get that, but I also think that sometimes you have to adjust course depending upon the skill set of the team that you're facing against. We was the away team, we're the underdogs and all the rest of it. Rodriguez, and look, I'm saying this now, and he had actually a decent game, but I do think that Alvarez on the bench would have been probably more advantageous. But anyway, look, that's just an opinion. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. That was the starting 11 that we kicked out against Tottenham. Again, probably the glaring sort of things you look at there. You go Lucas Paqueta. He's not exactly firing on all cylinders. He's got all of the stuff going on off the pitch that he's having to deal with. And to be honest, he's been pretty shit this season, if we're being completely honest about it. And that's probably me being very kind. Then you've got Kudus on the left. Again, square peg, round hole. Antonio, you know that he's only going to last 60 minutes. Where the fuck is Fulcrum? What, we've spent 27 million quid on another German sort of like injury prone player. We just seem to sort of like get players that are just plagued with injuries, for Christ's sakes. We did it with Andy Carroll. We did it with Jack Wilshere. We've done it all down the fucking years. I remember signing Stuart Robson on the treatment table, for Christ's sakes. Anyway, let's just go back on track. I'm getting into ranty mode here. It's just made me really angry, this result yesterday. Anyway, so that was what we put out. The Tottenham team that was put out was like this. It was probably what you thought. Brennan Johnson was a player that I thought we'd have to keep an eye on. He's been in fantastic form. Solanke as well's done quite well. Son coming back into the team. We was going to have our work cut out for us. It was fairly clear to see. And the first half, it unfolded. They had the bulk of the possession. I'll tell you what, before I get into that, I'm gonna get my rant out the way about the TNT Sport coverage, right? All it was, I don't know if you guys saw it, right? And I'm sure you did. You watched it same as me and probably thought the same thing as me. You're watching it and it's like, well, hold on. They've got Les Ferdinand. They've got Glenn Hoddle. They've got Peter Crouch. All on the sort of like the sidelines, all sort of like talking about how wonderful Tottenham are, how brilliant they are, what a wonderful stadium they've got, what amazing achievements they've done, despite the fact they've not won a league title since 1961 and they've not won a trophy since 2008. But hey, they're brilliant, they're fantastic. Let's do all of these things and say how wonderful that they are. Tottenham. They did a 30-second interview with J-Lo somewhere in the bowels of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in a broom cupboard or something like that. And then they get big Ange out for a 5-10 minute chin wag with all of his Tottenham mates and all the rest of it. And there's my dog going off. This is a live, not a live stream, but this is a recording that's completely, yeah, it is what it is. Look, you're going to have to put up with the dog barking. I've got no idea what she's barking at. Anyway, so it was just constant Tottenham bias. And they didn't really give us any sort of like any sort of focus at all for longer than they absolutely had to. Anyway, that was that, right? It was just if it wasn't sort of like wrapped in Tottenham sort of diatribe or anything like that, they just weren't interested. Anyway, let's get on to the match. We actually started, I thought, despite the fact we had the lesser amount of possession, I actually thought we actually had the better chances. I thought we go 1-0 up, would you believe? Mohamed Kudus, who was to know what would happen later, was the hero of the moment. He puts the ball away. We're 1-0 up and we're all jumping around. You know, all of these things. It was looking good. But little by little, you just thought that Tottenham were going to come back into it. And sure enough, they did. 36 minutes in, Dejan Kulusevski, he was assisted by James Maddison. 36 minutes in, gets the equaliser. I thought Kulusevski actually had a really good game. Just taking aside my club allegiances for one moment, I thought he was a pretty decent player on display, sadly, for the other team. 1-1, to be honest with you, at half-time, I'd have taken it. I thought we held our own up to that point. Then it all went wrong. The game was taken away with us within 8 second-half minutes between minute 52 and minute 60. And while this is going on, we've got substitutes that we're warming up and all the rest of it. And it's like, right, okay, we need to change things. The game's slightly coming away from us now. In between those sort of like them the point where he was at 1-1 and then at 4-1, the game was done. By the time the 60th minute came around and Son makes it 4-1 to them, then J-Lo decides to make the triple substitution. The game's gone. You might as well not fucking bother. It's gone. For Christ's sakes. You know, stable door, horses bolted. Does that saying mean anything to you, Mr. J-Lo? I don't know. Maybe it's not something that they have in Spain. But the game was done. Might as well not have bothered. Absolute waste of time. And from 4-1 down, the rest of the game was pretty much a procession. It just petered out as far as we was concerned. We didn't really do too much from that point on until, what was it? 86 minutes? What is it? And then Kudus just lost his rag completely, lost his head. As soon as it happened in real time, he's put his hands on the geezer's face. Yes, he reacted like an absolute twat and starts rolling around, clutching his face. Richarlison as well. Pair of morons. But at the end of the day, as soon as you put your hands on someone's face, you know that you're going to be struggling to stay on the pitch from that point on. And so it proved. They went across VAR. He's shown them the red card. After initially showing him a yellow card, he's rescinded the yellow card and gone straight red for you, mate. That's an early bath. So he's now going to be out of the Man United game. Brilliant. Well done. That's great. Fantastic. Thanks very much. Brilliant. So it all went wrong. The whole lot went wrong yesterday. My wife's a Spurs fan. I had to put up. I mean, look, I'm wearing all black. I am mourning the loss of pride and of all of those things. It's just an absolute shit show. It's an absolute shit show. We've had 10 games of this manager now. 10 games as competitively. 8 in the league. We've had 2 in the League Cup. That's 10 games, let alone pre-season friendlies and behind closed doors matches with Dagenham and Redbridge and all of that stuff. I don't know about you guys. I am starting to get really concerned. I'm starting to get a little bit worried that we're not seeing what I think we should have seen. You know, look, I think we're all agreed that David Moyes' time at West Ham was done. He needed to go on. Thanks very much. Appreciate all you've done. Won us a trophy, first trophy in 43 years, but everything has its time, and his time had come and gone. He needed to move on. No problem at all. Is this the guy that we needed to replace him with? I'm not so sure, guys. I'm really not so sure. And we've all turned around and said, you've got to give him time. You've got to give him time. Well, where's the line in the sand? Where's the point at which you go, right, it's still not working here. Now we need to adjust course. Is it 12 games? Is it 15 games? Is it 20 games? I don't know. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on that. I do think that 10 games, 10 competitive games is a decent sample size for you to actually look at someone and really get a handle on whether they're up to the mark or not. And to be honest with you guys, I've got some concerns. I mean, we're down to 15th at the minute, and we've got a home game against Manchester United that's coming up. Now, make no mistake, that is not going to be easy. They're not going to sort of like just turn up and roll over and have their tummies tickled. And we're going to be out without a player who is reputedly one of our star turns in Kudus. He's not going to be involved. Paqueta, absolute fucking waste of time from where I'm sitting, to be honest with you. I was having this conversation a little bit earlier on with a few of the other West Ham Hammers Patreons, Hammers Chat Patreons, where we discussed it. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm going to sort of like say it out here. Other than that pass in the Conference League final that put Bowen in, I'm struggling to remember too many times when Lucas Paqueta has actually done anything where I've actually sort of gone, wow, that's a game-changing moment, or he's taken a game by the scruff of the neck, or he's done this, or he's done that, or he's had a consistent... I just don't see it, guys. And to be honest with you, this season he's been a complete passenger, complete waste of space on it. Okay, you can turn around and say, oh, well, he scored against Ipswich. Mate, we'd already won that game. The game was done. He was on the back stick, and if he couldn't have fucking scored that, something's desperately wrong. He was in acres of space, and it was easier. It was more difficult to score, to miss, than it was to score. Yeah? So Lucas Paqueta just something needs to be sorted out. But then we brought in a guy that's apparently likely to replace him in Carlos Soler, and all he does is he comes on, gets booked, and argues with the referee all the fucking time. I mean, what is going on? Anyway, that's my rant out the way. I'm now going to calm down. Until my missus walks past and she's wearing her Tottenham shirt. She knows how to wind me up, guys. She really does. Anyway, listen, if you've enjoyed listening to a middle-aged man ranting about a West Ham defeat, another West Ham defeat, then do us a favour, drop a like on the stream. Really would appreciate that. Give the Hammers Chat boys your support. And if you fancy popping across to the West Ham Massing and seeing more of this sort of ranty sort of nonsense unfolding before your very eyes, please feel free to do so. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Come on, you irons. See you next time.